Hello, hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to explore hip openers to release tension and to restore mobility post-workout. Down, lift up that back foot, and touch whatever is in your practice. Or for you, if it ain't it, it ain't it. So we're going to begin the easy C as I am now, or crisscross applesauce. You can have your eyes closed or at a soft gaze. Palms can be up for receiving energy or down for grounding. I like to keep them down and have my eyes closed. And I'm going to inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. One more inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Just grounding myself, bringing my attention and awareness to my mat, into my body. So we're going to begin in seated cat-cows that are indirectly supporting our hips by supporting and mobilizing our spine and lower back. So begin by arching your back and squeezing your shoulder blades behind your back, lifting your chest up and open on the inhale, and on the exhale releasing that, rounding our shoulders back and our shoulders toward our ear in our cat pose. Do a few more rounds again, lifting our chest and squeezing our shoulder blades behind our back, and then reverse, rounding it behind us. I'm going to do a few more rounds here for 3, 2, 1, 0. Moving ourselves to the top of our mats in child's pose. Big toes touch, knees wide. Bringing our booty down to our feet and then walking our hands in front of us. Bringing our chest down, forehead down as close to the mat as possible while still keeping our booty yearning or touching our heels. We're going to do 5 rounds of breath here. With every exhale, really sinking and softening into this pose a little bit more. 5. 3, 2, 1. Now on the come up, we're going to round our back again like we did in that cat pose and lifting ourselves up into up dog, bringing our shoulder blades back and down and having that slight arch and curve in our back. And now reversing back to child's pose, bringing our butt down, knees wide, chest to the mat. And we're going to do that 4 more times. Lifting up, rounding. Slowly bringing our head up, bring our shoulder blades down in this up dog. And on the exhale, shifting up, right down and back for child's pose. 3, 2, and 1. In this child's pose, we're now going to do some lateral stretches, walking our hands to the right side of our mat, having our left over our right hand, keeping our butts down as we really get that stretching to our left side and left body, maybe doing some movement with it if it feels good in your practice, while still trying to keep our hips down, really allowing it to get that stretch as well as stretching out our quads as well. So for 3, 2, 1. Now walking over to the left side and the same thing. Now getting that right hand on top, stretching that right side of the body. You might even feel it in your arms, right? And once again, really being mindful to keep our butts down as we're doing this for 3, 1. Now we're gonna make our way up and into a plank pose, having our fingers wide, core engaged, pressing down and away from the mat, rounding our shoulder blades, and then moving this, bringing our right foot and stepping it in between our hands and bringing that left foot down, and we are in our low lunge. In our low lunge, bring our hands up and overhead or at heart center. We're just gonna breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now placing this left hand down and lifting our right hand up as we are in a low lunge twist. We can stay here if it feels good in your body. Maybe you're bring that right hand down and trying to reach that left foot, or if it's in your practice to grab it and grab the outer edge or whatever that you can grab, and holding this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release if you already done so, and lifting up that left foot, stepping that right foot back, and now walking our hands up and back into downward dog. Maybe doing some pedals, pedaling that out. And now moving back into our plank pose. From plank pose, now stepping that left foot in between, bringing that right down, and we are in low lunge on the left side. Placing our hands up overhead or in heart center for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now placing that right hand down, left arm up, low lunge twist. And you can stay here or bring the hand down, lift up that back foot, and touch whatever is in your practice. Or for you, if it ain't it, it ain't it. And we're gonna hold this for 5, 4, 3, 1. Release. Lifting up that right foot, stepping that back from plank into our down dog, walking it out. Pedaling that out, maybe doing some bent knees, just to once again waking up our body as we begin to flow. So we're gonna look forward and walk our feet to our hands, and we are now in our forward fold. I'm actually gonna ask you to have your feet wider. So wider than hip distance apart. So I'm here, and I'm actually ask you to step out wider so that you can have more room for the gut, for the chest, for the body, and really to sink deeper. So bending our knees, and then we're going to place our left hand down and lift up, stretching here, and holding this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And doing the same thing. And when you're placing your hand, you want to have it align with your shoulder. And now lifting up for 5, 4, 3, 2. From here, I'm going to bring my feet back together and lift my hands up and overhead. And now mountain pose in Tadasana. Bringing my hands together, palms at heart center. And taking a minute to just bring back my intention. Why am I here? Why am I practicing? Bringing my awareness back to the mat just in case it drifted away. Take a minute now to align yourself with your intentions from earlier as we begin to flow into our modified sun salutation. So mountain pose, lift our hands up overhead, pinkies facing forward, tilting our tailbone down so we're in a neutral spine and pelvic. With the inhale and exhale, forward fold, and hips. Inhale, halfway lift, having our hands right by our shins, below our knees, flat back. Exhale, press our hands down and step back into our plank pose. And then shift forward and lower down to our bellies. Bringing the faces of our feet down, using our hands to lift our body up, shoulder blades down into the up dog we did prior. And now flip our toes and lift our butt up and back into downward dog and pedal that out. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that. Once again, stepping and walking, stepping our feet up in front of the mat, forward fold. Lifting our hands up overhead, Tadasana, mountain pose. Diving, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, lift, half lift. Exhale, placing our hands down, stepping back into our plank, shifting forward, down to our bellies. Flipping our toes, lifting up off the mat into our up dog, shoulder blades down. Flipping our feet up and back into downward dog. One more time. Make sure to listen for the change. So stepping to the front of the mat, lifting our hands up overhead, forward fold. And now instead of stepping back into plank, you're going to step your right foot back at a 45-degree angle, bending at the front leg, lifting up and over. And now we are in Warrior 2. Holding this for 5, 4. Making sure that our hips are squared and we're still squared forward. And that this back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Holding this 3. Bending a little lower. 2. Sending your gaze at your hands. 1. 2, 1, and now cartwheeling our hands down, scooting that back foot a bit forward, still at 45 degrees, and now straightening this front leg, and we are now in pyramid pose, bringing our chest down to our thigh as much as possible. Need to know if that's in your practice. Trying our best to keep our hips squared. That really allows for our hamstring on both ends, your left and right foot, to really get that stretch and forward folding here. Breathing into these body parts, softening with each exhale. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bending that front leg, stepping that back foot forward in our forward fold, lifting up a Tadasana. And do the same thing on the other side. Stepping that right foot now back, 45-degree angle, then lifting our hand up and over, bending that front foot. And now we are in Warrior 1. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightening the front leg and then bringing our chest down. And knee to nose in pyramid pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bending and stepping that back leg forward. Placing our hands down, stepping back into our plank pose, and finishing our vinyasa going down. Lifting up into up dog. And flipping our feet up and back, our booties into downward dog. Pedaling that out. in my three-legged dog, lifting up that right foot. In my downward dog, I'm now going to lift up this right foot to a three-legged and stepping it or placing it in between my hands, that right foot, bringing down that left knee. Now I'm in my low lunge. Instead of staying here, I'm going to lift up that back foot and get my knee off the ground, and now I'm in runner's lunge. And so I can, as we move into now revolve triangle, I'm going to step that left foot in a little bit closer, straighten this front leg, so then I can bring this heel down in the back, keeping my left hand down, lifting up my right, and now I'm in revolve triangle. And breathing in here. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to place my hand back down, bending that knee, and then moving back into my downward dog. Doing the same on the left side. Pedal it out. Lifting up that left foot, doing some knee circles. And the other way, back to three-legged. Stepping that left foot in between, bringing that right knee down. And now I'm going to move here from low lunge to high lunge by moving to the ball of my back foot. And then stepping that foot a little bit in further as I straighten my front. Bringing that back heel down, placing this left hand down, right up, right up, left down. Right down, left up. And revolve triangle for 5, 4, 3, and 1. Moving it back down and through, back to my downward dog. Pedaling that out, I'm now going to bring my knees down and move back to easy seat as we move into cow facing pose. So I'm going to begin with my right foot, crossing it down under my left and lifting this left, I can either grab my ankle or my foot over to try to cross it so that my knees are aligned and both feet are flexed, and they should be on my hip side, but they're not, and that's okay. A really deep stretch in our groin, in our hips, and once again moving our hip flexors in ways that we don't usually do. And we're gonna hold this for 5, 4, 3, keeping both tailbones glued down, softening in this position. 2, 1, 0. Straightening my legs out, shaking that out, and now doing the reverse. So bending that left foot, bringing the right over. Once again, trying to have my knees aligned. Right? And we can see it looks different on one side and the other, which is fine and normal. Our body's asymmetrical. And we're gonna hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, felt that. Shake that out. And we're gonna move into reclined pigeon pose, leaning on our backs, creating a figure 4, starting with our right, flexing it over our left knee, lifting up that left foot. And you can stay here by having both feet flexed and this left foot in a 90 degree. Or if you want to deepen it, you can have your hands pull that left foot closer towards you and using the right elbow to press out the right knee. 5, 4, 2, 1. Now doing the same thing on the other side. Left, flexing the left, bending the right. Flexing both feet. Whew. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing that, and we're going to end here in Shavasana and final rest pose. And the option to either do reclined bound angle by bringing the soles of our feet to touch and our knees spread wide using gravity to press them down, or you can do just corpse pose, allowing yourself to rest and relax. I'm going to choose reclined bound angle to continue to gently open up my hips, allow myself to tilt my tailbone so that my lower back is down and I don't have an arch underneath as much as possible. Allow yourself to surrender, trusting into your mat, into the ground. Thanking your hips for carrying so much, carrying the load in all senses and forms of the word. And just bringing awareness to what that area or other parts of your body is feeling without judgment. If you have the time to stay longer, by all means, stay. But for those who are ready, I invite you to close your legs like a book if they're open and begin to straighten them in front of you and do a morning stretch, bringing awareness to your fingers and toes, gently rolling over to one side and moving into an easy seat with your eyes closed or a soft gaze. Hands to heart center. Our last breath together. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today and showing up for yourself.